Hello students, welcome back to our online teaching session of Maths 1. In the previous session, I have finished with the first chapter of Maths 1, that is linear equation in two variables. From this session onwards, I will be starting with chapter number 5, that is probability. It is an extremely easy chapter and maximum scoring. You should get full marks in such chapters. To start with, let us see the content outline of this chapter. So in this chapter, what we are going to learn is probability. I'll tell you what is it. Now this chapter doesn't deal with formulas that I'll give you some specific formulas you will learn by heart and solve. It is totally a new concept and there are many new terms to be learned in this chapter like sample space, event, random experiment, outcome. All these are new terms to you. Now this is a little bit theoretical. I'll explain each and every term to you and then we will go for solving the exercise sums. So to start with, we will start with the first term, that is random experiment. Now random experiment, you must be confused. Now why experiment in maths? Now this is actually a condition that will be given to you. An example, a sum given to you in probability is called as random experiment. Now an experiment in which all the possible results are known in advance but none of them can be predicted with certainty is called as random experiment. Now what is the exact meaning of all this? I'll again read the definition. An experiment in which possible results are known in advance. Now experiment means a situation. Like suppose I give you an example. What are the chances that it will rain immediately after 5 minutes? Now you know the possible results of it, that it may or may not rain, but none of them can be predicted with certainty. Can you tell me that 100% after 5 minutes it is going to rain, or 110% that after 5 minutes it will not rain? We have a certain degree of doubt in it. So such experiments are called as random experiments. Okay, then the following are some of the random experiments which will be frequently used in this chapter. Now random experiments means the situations or examples based on which we will be solving sums in this chapter. First one is tossing a coin. Now this is an example, a day-to-day life example, tossing a coin. Everybody knows that when I toss a coin, I am either going to get a head or a tail. So it is an experiment of which the answer I know well in advance. But can I tell you with certainty that yes, now I am tossing a coin, I am going to get head only or tail only? It's not like that. Hence it is called as a random experiment. The second experiment or second example which we will see in this chapter is throwing a dice. Now I hope you must be playing with dice in this vacation and you must have seen on that die there are 6 numbers written on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 on the 6 different faces of it. So when I throw a die, I know that out of this 6, I'll get one of the answer. But cannot be told with certainty that yes, when I'm throwing a die, I will get 3 only or 4 only. So therefore it is called as a random experiment. Drawing a card from a well-shuffled pack of cards. Yes, cards is another option in this period when you are locked in your homes and when you can't go out to play. You must be having a nice time playing cards and all. So that is also called as a random experiment. Why? Because as you know, there are 52 cards in a pack of card. If you take out one card, you cannot tell with certainty that it is an ace card or a number card. So this is a random experiment. Forming a two-digit number from digits given. Now here we come to maths again. Forming a two-digit number and all. I'll explain you as we come to such examples. Now I hope you understood what is the first term, that is random experiment. Okay. The next new term is outcome. Now what is the meaning of outcome? Outcome means the answers. Now when I say that I have a coin, I'm going to toss it. What is the possible outcome? It can be either head or tail. It can't be any other than this. Or a die. What are the possible outcomes? There are 6 outcomes. Either I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So these are nothing but outcomes. So to define it, the result of the random experiment is called as an outcome. Okay. So the next term, equally likely outcomes. Now what do I mean by this? Equally likely means suppose I'm using a die. It should be fair enough that if I throw a die, always 3 doesn't appear on the upper face or always 4 doesn't appear. It should be fair enough. Or a coin. It should be fair that when I toss a coin, always head should not appear or always a tail should not appear. It should have possibility of both occurring at the same percentage. Like a given number of outcomes are said to be equally likely if none of them is expected to occur in preference to the others. This is what I was telling you, that if you toss a coin, it should not be head always or tail always. Both should have equal possibilities. Okay? So, for example, when we toss a coin, the head or tail is equally likely outcome. I hope you understood this second new term, that is outcome. The next term is sample space. Now, what are sample space? What is sample space in fact? Sample space means collecting all the possibilities together and writing it in form of a set. A sample space is a set of all possible outcomes in an experiment. Now I have given you an example here. See, in this chapter you will be having questions based on coins, like one coin tossed or two coins tossed together or even three coins tossed together. You should know how to write the possible outcomes of it, and that all is presented in a set form, that is nothing but sample space. So a sample space is a set of all possible outcomes in an experiment. The first one is explained here, one coin tossed. The possible outcomes are only two. Either I get a head or I get a tail. But when two coins are tossed, then this is one of the method to write it, list method. Like I list the possibilities. What is this first possibility? That when I toss both the coins, the first possibility is I get head on both. Or second one is head on the first one, tail on the second one. Next possibility is tail on the first one, head on the second one. And the last possibility is tail on both the coins. So there is no other way in which I will get the possibilities. So there are only four. So when two coins are tossed, number of possibilities are four, and it can be written in this way. If I want to write the same thing in table form, now table form, it is just a way to make it easy for you to understand how to present it. See, this is sample space for one coin, HT, and this is sample space for the second coin, HT again. Now we have to combine it. HH for the first one, then HT for the second one, then HT, then TH and TT. So these are the ways in which it can be written. Okay. Now, what if instead of two coins, we have to toss three coins simultaneously at the same time? Then how that sample space is to be written and how many elements will be there? I can give you a clue or a hint to remember that when one coin is tossed, it is two. Two elements are there. So n of s is 2, number of elements is 2. Then if two coins are tossed simultaneously, it will be 2 raised to 2, that is 4. As you can see, there are 4 elements written here. Yes, and then I hope you must have understood, when 3 coins are tossed, it should be 2 raised to 3, that is 8 elements. Now let's see how those 8 elements can be got. So now we are going to learn how to write sample space when 3 coins are tossed. Now I have written this method. This method is nothing but called as tree method or branch method. Now how to understand this? See, whenever a coin is tossed, there are only two possibilities, either head or tail. Head or tail. In this way I have completed this branch system. Now I am explaining you how this can be obtained in a sample space form. Now look at this. The first branch, the first coin is head, the second coin is also head, the third coin is also head. So this is one possibility. What about the second possibility? The second possibility is on the first coin head, on the second coin head, but on the third coin it is tail. So this is the second possibility. Same way, the next possibilities. First coin head again, but on the second coin tail, and third coin head. Next possibility, head on the first coin, tail on the second coin, and tail on the third coin. Like this, all this can be prepared. Tail, head, head. That is the next. Again, tail, head, tail. And the last one, tail, tail, head, and tail, tail, tail. So these are the possibilities. Hence the possible outcomes will be HHH, HHT, HTH, HTT, THH, THT, and TTH, and the last one TTT. So these are in all 8 possibilities in which a sample space can be written when 3 coins are tossed simultaneously at the same time. Now, next what we will learn is about cards. Now, when I say cards, I know during this lockdown time, most of you must be playing with cards and enjoying. Now, let us see how it can be used in our maths. Now, when it is cards, I hope everybody knows that a pack of card consists of 52 cards. So, that is the first thing. Then, what are the different things that we should know in this? That there are 26 red cards and 26 black cards. Okay, out of this 26 also, you must have seen that there are 13 diamond cards and 13 heart cards which are red in color. Out of the black cards, there are 13 spade cards and 13 club cards. So, in this what we need to remember, the group of 13 cards of diamond, heart, spade and club is collectively called as suit. Now what is this? This is a term which is used in probability for the different types of cards which we get. So that there are 13 diamond cards, 13 heart cards, 13 spade and 13 club. Okay, so these are the bifurcation for those 26 red and 26 black. So what you need to remember, the important points in this, that out of 56 cards there are 26 red cards and 26 black cards. From this, if I ask you the bifurcation of red and black, it will be 13 diamond and 13 hearts, and for black it will be 13 spade and 13 club. Now I'll give you an easy way to remember the bifurcation of these 13 cards. See, all this classification which I am showing you are extremely important, and if you want to solve all the sums based on card nicely, you have to remember these classifications. So the bifurcation for those 13 cards of each suit, that is diamond, heart, spade and club, it is similar for all this. So what is that? First of all, there are 9 number cards. You must have seen cards on which numbers are written. Numbers from where 1 is not written on any of the card. The number starts from 2. So numbers like 2, 3, 4 till 10, they are called as number cards. So for example, if I take diamond, there are 9 number cards in diamond. And what is the next one? Next one is a face card. Now what is face card? Face cards are those cards on which face are drawn, like king, queen and jack. So each suit is having 3 face cards, king, queen and jack. What is left is one ace card with A written on it, right? So in all, how much we get here for each suit? Each suit contains 13 cards, which are they? 9 numbers, 3 face cards and 1 ace card. I hope you remember this. Next important thing is, how many ace cards are there? If there is one ace card in each suit, there are how many suits here? 4 different suits, that is diamond, heart, spade and club. So total of ace cards in a pack of cards is how many? 4. Yes. And what about face cards then? Face, F-A-C-E, face cards. Now if each suit has 3 face cards, there are in all 4 suits. So how many face cards will be there? 3 into 4, that is 12. These are extremely important points to remember for sums related to cards. Now I have told you the sample space for different things, like I have told you for coins, I have told you for cards. Now I come to the chapter and define what is probability. Now what is probability? We are learning this chapter. What we exactly have to find in this? Probability of an event A is defined is a finite sample space S is written as P of A, and it is defined as P of A is equal to N of A upon N of S. Now what are all these? These are new terms to you. And one more new term you can see here, that is event. Now what is event? Event is a question that will be given to you. On what basis you are going to find the answer? That is nothing but event. Then what is N of A? N of A means number of elements in that particular set. N of S means number of elements in the sample space. So probability is defined as P of A is equal to N of A upon N of S. This is a basic definition of probability. Each and every sum should have this formula to be written, and then based on this and the event given, we will be solving sums. So these were few new terms which we are going to use in this chapter. Now I am going to solve few sums which are related to the sample space which I have explained you just now. That is cards and coins. Remaining sums, as and when I explain you the sample space, I'll take the sums from the exercise. Okay. So the first sum is three coins are tossed simultaneously. It is one of the sum from your exercise only. Condition for event A is to get at least two heads. Condition for event B is to get no head. And condition for event C is to get head on the second coin. Now this question of your exercise practice set is only to find the sample space and write number of sample elements, not to find probability. So our first step will be what? To go back to the question and see how many coins are being tossed simultaneously. As you can see here, there are three coins tossed, and I have explained you the method to write the sample space. So the first step is three coins are tossed simultaneously. So the sample space will have these 8 elements. So n of s, how do we get this n of s? You count all these elements, how many you have written here? It is 8. So n of s is equal to 8. Now I come to my first question, that is condition A. To get at least two heads. Now this is extremely important term which will be frequently used in probability, that is at least and at the most. Now at least means what? They are telling us at least two heads. Means minimum two, even if more is there can be considered. Right? So see, at least two heads. So I will collect from here. At least two heads means first this will be there. Then of course two heads I can see here, two heads here. It is having only one head, so this will not be considered, neither this nor this, not even this. Now just now I told you that at least means minimum two, even if more is there should be considered, so you don't have to forget this. This is important to understand, that whenever words like at least are used, more part is to be considered. So even h is to be considered in this, and the remaining two. So n of a will be equal to 4. Coming to the second condition, to get no head. So out of this, as we go ahead in this sample space, no head, there is only one possibility here, that is TTT. So B is an event of getting no head, that is TTT. How many elements in this? Only one. So n of B will be equal to 1. I hope you are understanding it. Now the third one is condition for event C, to get a head on the second coin. Now they have specified they want head on the second coin only. So we will concentrate only on the second coin. We will see the first one, that is head on the second coin. Even this is having head on the second coin. Now as we move forward, this is having head on the second coin. Correct? And this is having head on the second coin. Only second coin you see, and if it is H, then all those will be collected and written here in the event C. So how many are there in all? 4. So n of C will be equal to 4. This was one of the question of your exercise, where you just have to write the sample space and write the sample elements like n of A, n of B and n of C. Okay, so I hope this sum is understood. Let us move to the next sum. The next sum is again based on coins, and it is again one of the sum from your exercise only. So let me read the question. If two coins are tossed, find the probability of following events. Okay, now instead of three coins, they are asking us two coins. So I hope you remember the sample space. What was the sample space? Two coins, both head, one head, one tail, one head, and both tails. So HH, HT, TH, and TT for two coins. Correct? So n of s will be equal to, how many elements are there? 4. Don't individually count them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. They are considered as pair together. Okay? So it is 4. N of s is equal to 4. Now let us go to the first condition that they are giving us, that getting at least one head. Just now I have explained you the meaning of the term at least. There is a note given here. I want everybody to write this so that during exam time you remember these two important things. At least means one or more, correct? And at the most means one or none. even if it is not there, even that has to be considered. Okay, so at least one head means minimum one. Even if more head is there, that also has to be considered. So see, one is there, of course, one is here also, but even if more is there, that also has to be considered. So n of a I will get as 3. Now in this they are even asking us the probability. Now how to find probability? I have just given you the formula. Probability of any event is defined as number of elements in that event upon number of elements in the sample space. So P of A is nothing but N of A upon N of S. So N of A is what? 3 and N of S is what? 4. So P of A will be 3 upon 4. Second one. Look at the second question. Getting no head. Now no head means there is only one possibility, TT. N of B will be 1 and probability will be 1 upon 4. Correct? N of B upon N of S, so 1 upon 4. In this way we have done one more sum of the practice set. Now let us see to the next question. Now this question deals with cards. This is also one of the sum of the practice set where we have to find probability. A card is drawn at random from a pack of well shuffled 52 cards. Find the probability that the card drawn is an ace card, a spade card. Now I have given you nicely the bifurcation and the classification. Now how to present such questions in the exam? This is a way to write. Let us be the sample space. We are not going to write every element of this because it is difficult to write all those 52 elements. In fact, we will directly write there are 52 cards, therefore n of s is equal to 52. This has to be mentioned in the exam and therefore n of s is equal to 52. Now let us come to the first question. Probability that the card drawn is an ace card. Now they have not given you any event as A, B, C. You will take on your own. Let A be the event that the card drawn is an ace card. Now, how many ace cards are there in all? In each suit, that is spade, diamond, heart and club, there are one ace card. There is one ace card. So in all there will be 4 ace cards. So n of A will be equal to 4. Now I need to find probability also. So P of A will be nothing but n of A upon n of S, that is 4 upon 52, that is 1 upon 13. And one more important thing in probability, if such ratios can be reduced, you have to reduce and get to the answer, or else even in board exam marks are deducted for this. Okay, now next one is a spade card. Now spade, it is one of the suit of the inner playing cards. Now one of the suit means there are how many each type of suit in this? 13. So 13 cards in each type of suit. So there are 13 spade, 13 heart, 13 diamond and 13 club. They are particularly asking us a spade card. So we will write this. Let B be an event that the card drawn is a spade. There are 13 cards in a suit of spade. Correct? So one spade can be drawn out in 13 different ways. So n of B is equal to 13. Now probability will always be related to number of elements and the total number of elements in the sample space. So P of B will be n of B upon n of S, that is 13 upon 52. It can be reduced, 13 ones are and 13 fours are. So it is 1 upon 4. So final answer, the first probability is 1 upon 13 and second probability is 1 upon 4. I hope this sum is understood. Now from the entire chapter, the practice set which you have, there are 4 different practice set. I have selected only those sums which are related to cards and the sum which we did before this, that is tossing a coin. Correct? Now after this we come to the last part of this session, that is assignment. In this I have again selected only these 2 types of sum. So today we have learned only 2 types of sum wherein coins are involved and cards are there. Remaining there are few more. As and when I will teach that sample space, I'll take selected sums from the exercise. Okay, so this is your assignment 1. A card is drawn at random from a well shuffled pack of 52 cards. Find the probability of getting a red card. So only one I have given you, that you have to find a red card. I hope you know that there are how many red cards. Now I need not tell you this answer. You have to know it. You just see it and get the answer. Now second question is, 2 coins are tossed simultaneously. It is 2 coins tossed simultaneously. So accordingly you have to write the sample space. and find the probability. I have given you 4 different sub questions. So you have to take this as event A of getting one tail, event B exactly two head, event C at least one head, and event D at the most one head. At the most, I have told you, at the most maximum one head, even if it is not there, that has to be considered. This you need to remember for at the most. And at least means what? Minimum one head, even if more is there, should be considered. Okay, so these are the two important, very important type of sums which can be asked when coin questions are asked. Okay, so with this we come to an end of our online session 1. I hope you have understood everything. Remaining part of this chapter will continue in the next session. Thank you.